Sometimes the most important news is not what happens all week, but it's the moves the government tries to hide from you. Like a new legal scandal the Trump administration tried to bury this past Friday night.
We have breaking news from the Department of Justice, specifically from the super important Southern District of New York. The U.S. Attorney in SDNY, Jeff Berman, is out in what appears to be a Friday night news dump.
Indeed. A few facts here. SDNY handles some of the most pivotal investigations around. It's been run by the big names like James Comey, Rudy Giuliani, David Kelly, Preet Bharara. And that prosecutor, Jeff Berman, who's now ousted, he was a respected lawyer who even donated to Trump's campaign. This is not some story about a clash with Obama-era personnel. And the stakes here are even greater than some other stories about Trump turning on his hires, from John Bolton to impeachment witness Gordon Sondland. The reason is that this New York office has jurisdiction over Trump. Let me repeat that. That's not true of other places in the country. This office has criminal jurisdiction over Donald Trump and his business and his family and any associates that do work for him in New York, be that Michael Cohen, who this very office sent to prison, or Rudy Giuliani, who was reportedly under investigation by this office. And you know who has known all of this from the jump? Donald Trump. He was laser focused on SDNY as soon as he won the election, even calling Berman's predecessor, U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara, who you see right here, to Trump Tower for a personal meeting during the transition.
The president-elect asked, presumably because he's a New Yorker and is aware of the great work that our office has done over the past 7 years, asked to meet with me to discuss whether or not I'd be prepared to stay on as the United States Attorney, to do the work as we have done it, independently, without fear or favor for the last 7 years. I agreed to stay on.
Without fear or favor. He meant it, and apparently Trump didn't like it because he briefly kept Bharara on, but then fired him a few months later after repeatedly personally calling him on the phone, trying to cultivate a relationship which Bharara later said appeared improper. This all matters right now because it's Berman who replaced Bharara, and legal experts and critics are saying Trump wanted someone more loyal, but Berman ultimately followed the tradition of being aggressive and independent of politics.
We are aggressive. We're appropriately aggressive. That's the history of the office, and I think the public is better for it.
Politics does not enter into our decision-making on charging a case. We bring a case when the case is ready to be brought.
That's how Berman put it. He's now out over the weekend, and there's evidence supporting what he just said there, because the SDNY has been bringing many notable cases when they were ready, from cases that gave the Trump administration headaches to cases against a Trump nemesis who talked up running for president as a Democrat. Remember Stormy Daniels' former attorney, Michael Avenatti.
I'm going to stick to my predictions. I said that Michael Cohen was going to plead the Fifth. He pled the Fifth yesterday. I've said that he's going to be indicted. There's no question he's going to be indicted. I've said that he's going to roll over on the president. I don't think there's any question about that when push comes to shove.
Some liberals cheered Avenatti's attacks on Trump and Cohen. Well, the SDNY went on to indict both Cohen and Avenatti, and also investigate Trump's inner circle and any other big cases that came along, ranging from key banking and foreign policy issues to indicting Jeffrey Epstein for sex trafficking of minors after a renewed spotlight on a 2008 plea deal he received from another Trump official. That obviously caused some consternation inside the administration. The office also indicted 2 Giuliani associates linked to the Ukraine collusion scandal that, of course, got Trump impeached, and it was probing Giuliani himself, a move that we know concerned Donald Trump. Berman referring to the ongoing cases in this clash this weekend. Now, he didn't name them specifically, but tonight and over the course of this period, while everyone's digging into this, legal experts suggesting that the SDNY probe of Giuliani could have driven Barr's attempt to oust Berman. Others noting how the SDNY's indictment of Turkish bank Halkbank, which allegedly evaded Iran sanctions, was also putting heat on Trump and causing strife. Indeed, take it all together tonight, that is the very probe that John Bolton is now alleging Trump may have tried to interfere with or tried to obstruct.
The president said to Erdogan at one point, look, those prosecutors in New York are Obama people. Wait till I get my people in, and then we'll take care of this. It did feel like obstruction of justice to me.
It felt like obstruction of justice to him. A skilled lawyer who was in the room as a witness, John Bolton, is saying he thinks the president he served committed a crime of obstruction. That's big alone, and now you have this new energy and action around it. And that allegation brings you all back to the beginning. Remember, Donald Trump sizing up Obama appointee Bharara, just like he did Comey and others. He replaced him with Berman, who may have looked like one of Trump's people. But was he just ousted for not acting like it? This is already a huge deal for each of those reasons, which are backed by evidence. Then add to that what also went down during the Friday night news dump. Attorney General Barr falsely said Berman was resigning. Berman said that wasn't true, and then he appeared to prove it by not resigning. And then even some Republican senators were pushing back on Barr's unusual plan to have an outsider take charge of this office, which is handling all this important stuff that I just told you about. And that was a potential violation of federal law because the deputy is supposed to take over. Now, we can also report so much has happened since they tried to bury this on Friday night that that particular part of Barr's original plan has failed. Berman's deputy, Audrey Strauss, will take over, keeping independent prosecutors in charge rather than the plan to get a hand-picked Trump ally in there, at least for now. There are also reports that the Senate may not confirm any new nominee for this office before the election. So that's a lot, and I want you to understand and know all of it because it is so important. So let's wrap up here with a couple questions. If this plan was on the level, why didn't Barr just tell the truth about it on Friday? If these prosecutors were not digging further into these key sensitive areas for Trump, why did the Trump administration pick this fight right now with everything else going on? And if the Trump administration begins with an unusual clash with the one office with the power to indict Trump and his allies in New York, and then fires that person, Bharara, as I showed you, is it possible that now this clash is also about that very power? Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.